Okay, so you can see we're one floor up. That's a view that many of you know out my window. We just got out of a faculty meeting. Thankfully, we can get back to reality here, Chris. Talk about something meaningful. Thank you for watching this series, Chris, number 1. And can you give us an opening comment on what you want to do here with this?
Okay, well, I want to lay out in a simple way this triple junction and the triple junction migration and the slab window.
Good.
So here's our very simple setup. So this piece of clear plexiglass is going to be North America.
Oh, we're getting right into it. I love it.
These are going to be 2 plates that shall remain nameless. Maybe it's the Farallon, maybe that's Resurrection, maybe that's Kula. We're agnostic on this point. And so what we have here is a spreading center with a transform fault and another one. The 2 sticky notes represent our oceanic plateau, S for Silesia, Y for Yakutat.
God, you've done your homework.
And so what we're going to do is, of course, we have plate convergence. So North America and the oceanic plates are, of course, converging.
Yeah.
But we also have spreading. One oceanic plate spreading away from the other one, creating strike slip motion. And so what I'm going to do is break this down into pieces that hopefully will make it easier for us to understand what's going on here.
Okay, let me hold you up for a sec. How long have you been stewing on this? Do you do this in your classes? Is this something that you're doing for the first time with us here?
This is brand new. I actually first thought of it for the Baja BC series, but didn't actually put things together until for our little demo here, seeing there's a lot of moving pieces, and I thought this might make it in a simple way.
Yes.
Not necessarily, any resemblance to real plates, living or dead, is purely coincidental. This is just a simplified tabletop demonstration. So what we're going to do is this plate is going to be converging perpendicular with North America.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to have convergence here, and then this plate is going to be spreading away from this plate.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead to oblique convergence with North America.
Okay.
Okay. So, step 1, we're going to spread our plates apart.
I love it.
Right? So they've just spread apart. This is where our new oceanic lithosphere is going to form.
Good.
In this gap. Oh, I should mention I put a little green dot to represent where our ridge was intersecting the trench before I did that.
I should have brought a green M&M up here.
Okay,
That's
well,
good.
we got a green marker pen.
Yes, thank
so
you.
Silesia, we're going to assume, has already been scraped off onto North America.
Okay.
And for our demo, I'm going to assume Yakutat is some strike slip thing is going to keep it moving north with this plate. So I just moved that north.
Okay.
And now we're going to, actually one other thing I want to do here is I'm going to put a little dot here on each plate so we can track the motion. We're now going to move forward. Okay, so we've just converged our plates.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Right? So now we can see here is the relationship. Here's the motion direction of this plate compared to North America.
Right.
Here is the motion of our other plate with respect to North America.
Okay.
Right? And now we're going to create some new ocean lithosphere. So that's where the colored paper strips come in.
Oh,
So notice we have a slab window here. So we're not going to create new oceanic lithosphere underneath North America, right? It's not exposed to the cold surface. Any magmas that are coming up, that might be part of our near trench story, right? So we're going to have, but we are going to create it out here. So there is a little piece of new ocean lithosphere. Okay, and I tape it on that side of the plate, and we're going to have a little piece of new ocean lithosphere over here, taped on this side.
This is a whole new application of the rainbow concept we've been working on.
Yeah, so these colors, again, are any resemblance to real color schemes, living or dead, is purely coincidental. So this is just to give us a relative sense of time, so I don't mean this to be your color scheme exactly, but it's just so we can track the growth of the oceanic plate. So again, notice we're growing some new ocean lithosphere on one side and on the other, and our new ridge is going right down the middle.
So of course, one ear I'm listening to you, and one ear is I'm thinking about what I'm doing with filming. So forgive me if I make a couple. So just to clarify for everybody, the plexiglass is the actual continent.
Yes.
And so the coastline is truly the edge of the plexiglass.
Yeah,
here.
so we can see we're now 2 squares in underneath North America.
Got
okay.
it. Got
so
it.
now, again, we're going to spread our plates, right?
Yeah, you
Plates are going to spread.
You keep spreading and you keep drifting west.
We're going to keep moving Yakutat up there, and a little static cling here.
This is genius.
Okay.
Unrehearsed, I might add. Like this is the first and only take here, Chris. Like.
Okay. Oh, and
I love
actually,
it.
hang on. Speaking of which, I screwed up.
I just jinxed it.
screwed up. You just
Sorry.
jinxed it, Nick.
Sorry.
Okay, I forgot to put our updated green M&M here at timestamp 2. Notice it's migrated north.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for screwing that up.
No, that's.
Okay, so here we go. So we've spread our plates, and
Yeah, you're
we
migrating
have converged, right? So now we can see, because of our triple junction offset, there's no more new lithosphere to create here. We just have this slab window.
Right.
Right, so this is going to be a place where we can have some of those near trench magmas. No plate underneath here. Now,
You know what? I know you're concentrating,
Sure.
but I think I'm hearing the viewers. Why wouldn't you have a bunch of near trench magmas going all the way inland? Like if it's coming up here, why wouldn't that spreading ridge make a whole kind of wedge of magmas coming up?
well, it is creating a slab window that's extending away from the trench. What we're not showing here is the idea that the slab is going to be diving with depth.
Yes.
So right here, that slab is separating. That hottest thynosphere is coming right up underneath the base of the continent,
Yes.
causing that melting of the overriding crust, giving us those weird near trench magmas.
Good.
Back here, that's maybe more Jeff Tepper country, who
Right.
could tell you what would or wouldn't
Oh yeah,
be
break
going
off
on.
and roll back and everything. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and
got it.
again, we're
not
not
focusing on
doing the,
No.
you know, we're just keeping it two-dimensional here, so you're just going to have to imagine the plate diving off. But what we can do,
We're doing
is
plenty
we
here,
can-
Chris. We can't do all this other stuff at
well,
the same time.
we can imagine, let's say this is our arc trench gap, let's say.
Okay.
So then let's say, well, okay, maybe now we're deep enough to have some arc volcanoes, right? That we didn't before because we didn't have the slab under there. But we don't have anything right here because there's no slab.
That point never got across. I don't think I ever really clearly said that we've lost that arc if we've got the window.
Right.
And-
Now, you got other things, but you don't have the
Right.
classic arc volcano. So again, here we go. We're going to put in our new ocean lithosphere here.
Okay, viewers, I hope you can handle this. I'm zooming around at all angles, so now, of course, we're like obliquely looking southeast towards Florida, and now we're zooming in. I hope that doesn't screw you up too much.
All right. Here
Stalling
we
for
go.
you. Chris is,
All right.
he's
We're
got
just
everything.
taping on
I love this.
our new ocean lithosphere. Okay, so again, we're going to spread. Oh, and I should mention, green M&M is now down here. Notice we just jumped it south,
Oh,
right? Because now this ridge has just hit the trench.
oh, you just moved another square west.
Yeah. So now
Ah,
we're gonna move, right? We're gonna
we did a
spread that
jump.
again, and we're gonna converge, right?
I
So
see.
again, we've
You
got our
just pulled a Mike Eddy on us. See, I thought you were Tepper all the way, and then you gave the old Eddy shuffle, and suddenly we jumped south.
okay. So again, see, there's our plate vector.
Yeah.
I'm just tracking this back edge of the plate
Yeah.
here and here. So again,
God, this is brilliant.
let's build a little bit more brand new ocean lithosphere here. Okay.
This is a combination of like a Stanford-trained professor like you are, combined with a second-grade teacher who's got construction paper, and we're all kind of making something for the bulletin board. Nice
exactly.
job.
I like the
you can do it all.
The appeal of the construction paper. I think it kind of helps demystify, perhaps. I'm hoping, anyway.
Well, that's the idea.
Okay. So here we are. We've got our new ocean lithosphere here that we've just made.
Taste the rain.
And notice green M&M is marching north.
Yeah. It's a yo-yo. We were, let's see, what was the oldest one? Here, then here, then here, then we jumped down, and now we're starting to march north again.
Right. And notice we're starting to open up a little slab window here.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're starting to get slabs subducting underneath here. We've still got this window. It's moving further away from the trench.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to diverge our plate boundary there. And going to converge North America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're going to form our new ocean lithosphere here.
This is all post-Silesia accretion. Like it's a whole nother angle on this that we actually are dealing with the large igneous province out there in the water. Or maybe that doesn't change your demonstration.
I mean, I think you could do it without. Oh, that reminds me. I've been forgetting to move Yakutat. I'm trying to keep Yakutat lined up.
There's a lot
with this point here.
Plus, I keep screwing you up.
And let's see, I overshot there a little bit. Okay, so here's our new crust. Let's tape it on just like in real life. That's how mid-ocean ridges work.
Of course.
Okay, so now green M&M marches north.
Marches north.
But guess what? Slab window comes into view. That volcano is going to die.
You son of a gun!
Right?
Chris Mattinson's out of control.
Slab window in action. This is kind of your garage door analogy that you were doing with Jeff's rollback model here in a simplified way. Okay?
Oh my God.
So we'll move that another square, keep Yakutat moving north there. And
this is fun, Chris. I had no idea this is going to be this involved.
Yeah. And then we're going to converge, okay? And then we're making some more ocean crusts here, more new ocean lithosphere. Attach it on
just when
there.
I think you're going to go, well, you know, it's just this way all the way, then you throw in another wrinkle. Are we headed for another big dramatic something here?
Well,
we might be.
Stay tuned. There is one more thing we're gonna get to here eventually, but maybe not as dramatic as the first. Okay, so now our M&M has moved up towards the north end of Silesia. Oop, and I've been slacking off on our plate vectors here. Let's keep those going.
It's hard to remember to do everything.
Okay. So
pause.
Notice we now have enough slab under here that we can fire up an arc volcano up there. Right? So notice we killed that because the slab window came in there.
This one was diving.
But now there's enough slab underneath North America.
Right.
We can have a volcano.
Early days.
All right?
Yeah.
Let's do another one here. So again, we're going to extend. We keep Yakutat moving there. And we're going to converge.
Jeez.
Right? And let's get a little
more. The window is like got a funky shape to it because of the jog.
Yeah. And of course, this is just a super cartoony idea, but I feel it gets the key points across. So here's our latest ocean crust there. So again, green M&M. So now it's back already where it started, but now it's younger. The other thing we can see we can now fire up another volcano here, right? We got slab underneath, so we have the possibility of arc volcanism.
Oh, this is new crust that
Right.
is cold enough now to act as a slab.
Yeah, right. This was no slab.
Right.
But here we formed some crust before we subducted it. Then it subducted, so it's young crust, but we still have a slab under there.
We got a rainbow slab that is now adding to the length of the volcanic arc.
Right.
Yeah.
So again,
Jeez.
we spread, we converge.
And this is with just one jog. If we had 2 or 3 jogs, it gets complicated in a hurry.
Yes, so I tried to keep this
Right.
as simple as possible, but
Right.
what I wanted to point out is notice the shape of the slab window. It's got that V shape
Yeah.
because, of course, this stuff that went into the trench first, as soon as it's down the trench, it stops making new lithosphere. But these two plates, they keep, right? This one keeps moving diagonally relative to North America. This one keeps moving head on, right? They're continuing to move in that direction. That's being dictated by those far field plate forces, wherever
I
those
see.
subduction zones
I
are
see.
that are dragging it along. And so those have spread further apart. We're going to have a wider gap. Again, eventually it's going to get deep enough down into the mantle that that gap isn't presumably going to have a surface expression. Whereas here we have that gap. We have the possibility of those near trench magmas. And importantly, we're not expecting an arc volcano right above there, because we don't have any slab, which means we don't have any metamorphic reactions to generate the water, to generate those slab melts.
Yes.
We can have other types of volcanism there, but not our classic arc-type magmatism. So I just wanted to share that to give a sense for what does that window look like, and some people have been asking, where does the window go? What happens
Right.
to it?
Right.
Well, it's there. If you haven't formed that lithosphere, you're never going to form it once it's back down in the mantle in a very simple-minded way. Now, once that slab sinks deep enough, presumably that's no longer going to be affecting what's at the surface, although I was really interested with Jeff Tepper's interview where he was talking about this weird magmatism down in Arkansas and connecting that maybe to what's up in Montana.
Well, yeah, the whole flat slab thing. Like, are you implying flat slab here as well? Like, don't we need this stuff that's away from the slab window to just...
So this,
be
I'm
shallow?
assuming this would be your normal angle subduction.
Okay.
I just can't do that because I need everything on a piece of board
Right.
to keep the model
Right.
tractable.
Yes.
So imagine this stuff. I'm just trying to show how far underneath North America it's gone. I'm not
Right.
implying that it's flat.
Right.
If it was flat, we wouldn't have any volcanoes here
Right.
because there's no hot mantle wedge for that dehydrated water to cause melting. If it's just going in a cold lithosphere, it's too cold to cause melting. You need that hot mantle wedge. So basically, as the slab is sinking, it's basically dragging some of that hot mantle. It's creating circulation under the arc. So you're having fresh, hot asthenosphere cycling under there, getting marinated by all these subduction juices from the metamorphic reactions, triggering the melting, feeding the volcanoes. If you shallow up the slab, that wedge is cold. It's not having that hot asthenosphere in there. And ballpark, if it's below maybe 1,000 degrees C or so, it's not going to be hot enough to melt, just for a rough number.
Right.
So yeah, here we're just assuming this slab would be subducting at our orthodox angle. Notice I cleverly started the model after we had created Silesia, so I'm just ignoring however you get from point A to point B in terms of what that pre-Silesia accretion
Right.
scene looked like,
Yeah.
and how much you're breaking slabs versus sliding slabs or whatever. We're leaving that to the side just to keep it a little simpler and to focus on the slab window. Where are you going to get the near trench magmas? How do you get something where it jumps to the south and then migrates north?
Right.
And where are you going to get the arc volcanoes and where are you not going to get the arc volcanoes? And also, how do you get Silesia and Yakutat to go their separate ways?
It makes perfect sense that you would have this brilliant demo in your mind this winter, But you first had the idea 2 winters ago with Baja, BC. I can't remember what we were talking about. Why were we talking about slab windows with Baja, BC? Do you remember? Or was it your show when you were talking about metamorphic?
Well, no, at this point it wasn't even about slab windows at all. It was just how do you transition from a subduction scene to a strike slip scene, really just using the modern San Andreas fault evolution as an analog. Because again, notice here, this oceanic plate relative to the other one, it's just simple spreading apart perpendicular to the ridge. That's all we're doing. But because both plates are converging relative to North America, you end up with a strike slip component, and as I've tried to indicate with our little Yakutat sticker here, if we imagine there are strike slip faults that are carrying part of the edge of North America north, dragging north along with this plate, that's how you can translate chunks of crust laterally along the coast. And something I set up and then decided maybe this is a little too complicated, but I just did it with the ridge perpendicular to the trench, just to keep it very simple. But
your original, you can have,
you can have the ridge coming in at an angle, right? And then, as I think Jeff has been pointing out, is that if this is Farallon, it's actually not quite head-on subduction. It's actually has an oblique component relative to North America. So those are all parameters you can play with in this model, and depending on what you do, that can control where your triple junction is going to be and how it's going to move through time. Is it going to stay in the same place? Is it going to move south? Is it going to move north? That's all dictated by what's the relative spreading rate versus the convergent rate, and what's the angle of the spreading ridge relative to the margin, and then also what's the overall vectors of these plates relative to North America. Do you have an overall oblique component to the whole system?
God, this is beautiful.
So I just wanted to share that to see if that would help maybe the picture of what's going on here.
So let's do a little kind of final thoughts. And one way to do a final thought is to, I mean, it's been a civil discussion. We have a difference of opinion between Jeff Tepper and Mike Eddy. With all of your work and your thinking about the Northwest, do you lean one way or the other, or are you intrigued by, maybe the Mike Eddy thing is new to you?
It is pretty new to me. I mean, again, I don't have any trouble seeing how you could generate it.
You just did it.
This is obviously just one way. I think the stickier question is what happened to that plume between scraping off Silesia and about 50 and the point at which you have magmas that people would be comfortable associating with it for sure, which seems like there's a 10 million year gap or something. I'm not up to speed on all the details.
You're right.
And so I think the key point is, like Jeff was saying, near trench magma is a geographic description. It doesn't say there was a ridge there or there was a plume there or whatever. It's just a place where they are. Everyone agrees on that. But trying to tease that out to the extent you can. I mean, if there's a plume in the neighborhood, is that going to just kind of contaminate the geochem of everything, even if there's a ridge there as well? I'm still trying to wrap my brain around what was that pre-Silesia configuration, because what I keep going back to is it seems like we need to have convergence in order to scrape off Silesia. We need to form Silesia out in the ocean, and then we need to scrape it off on the cowcatcher of North America, and that means we need to have convergence. So if you're a flat slab proponent, that's easy, right? You have convergence going the whole time. Everything, you know, the reason the arc shuts off at 85 is you just shallow out the slab, subduction keeps right on going, even faster than before, I think, is the preferred interpretation. And then you scrape off Silesia, and that causes a break in the slab, and then things can start rolling back. You can start having a modern cascade subduction zone. So that's a nice story. Obviously, others have pointed out the challenges with that. If you like Basil's model and you say, hey, flat slab has nothing to do with it, there is no flat slab, I'm going to shut off the arc in the Sierra Nevada and other places at 85 because I'm going to turn it into a transform boundary. It's basically modern San Andreas Fault story. You know, why do the Cascades stop at Mount Shasta? And well, Sutter Butte is you know, a ghost volcano of the Cascades, right? It's
Right.
you know, Shasta and Lassen Peak. Lassen Peak's the end. That's the caboose. That's the end of the line. But it didn't used to be. It used to go further south. That's Sutter Buttes. But Sutter Buttes is dead because the transform boundary has migrated past there. So that's a transform model. But that gives you the San Andreas Fault in our modern sense. So if you have Silesia, you know, a hypothetical Silesia forming off the coast, you know, 100 miles off the coast of Los Angeles, if you don't have that convergent component, how do we scrape it off? Maybe we change plate directions. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fun, interesting things to look at. I guess what I keep coming back to is I feel you have to have a flat slab down in the south to explain the Cozite, Lawsonite, Eclogites under the bottom of the Colorado Plateau that seems hard to make anything other than subducted oceanic plate and subducted trench sediments of the Pelona, Oricopia, Rand schist. But how far north you can take it, that's an open question, I feel. I mean, again, there's been this model that I certainly learned of, like, hey, that's the whole Laramide orogeny. Look, you can track it with all this stuff. And then Basil says, whoa, not so fast. That's not the story. And so what I still don't see is how you fit those pieces together.
Right.
And more work to do, so that's exciting. But those are some of the places my brain has been going during the series.
Chris Mattinson, extra beautiful job here today. Thank you. What a nice surprise to see all this. Thank you. I'm going to leave these guys with a parting shot back out the window.
All right.
All right. Chris Mattinson up here on the second floor. Think of all the other offices in this building with brilliant minds operating. They're a little closer to heaven up here on the second floor of Discovery Hall. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you down the road. Goodbye.